Today we are going to discuss the past paper questions from rate of the reaction and reversible reactions both. Okay, preferably from the reversible reactions. Look at this. This is the same worksheet that has been shared with you on WhatsApp group. Okay. Ammonia is made in an industrial process, starting with the nitrogen. The equation for the reaction is shown here. Name the industrial process that is used to make ammonia. Yes, perfect. It's a Haber process. Next, state the raw material from which nitrogen is obtained. What is the raw material from which nitrogen is obtained? Liquefied air or air. I would request you to write the answers, right? Just give the question numbers and write the answer. Next. Okay, next is what is meant by symbol this? Yes, it means it is a reversible. Please write down the answers. Next, state the temperature pressure needed for this industrial process. What is the temperature and pressure is required for this industrial process? 450 degrees Celsius temperature. And what is the pressure? 100 to 200 atm. Name the catalyst used in the industrial process. Iron. The forward reaction is exothermic. State the effect, if any, on the position of equilibrium when the following changes are made. Explain your answer. Right? So please be mindful when you are writing your answer. I will wait for you for 30 seconds for each question. Okay, your time starts now. Effect, if any, on the position of equilibrium. So be careful. He's asking about the position of equilibrium. Following changes are made. Explain your answer. Okay, the first one. State the effect, if any, on the position of equilibrium when the following changes are made. Explain your answer. The temperature is reduced. Position of equilibrium. Position of equilibrium. What happens to the position of equilibrium? Moves to the right hand side. So I always tell you, do not write forward, backward. Just tell right hand side or left hand side. Why? You have to explain, as this reaction is exothermic in the forward. Here you can write forward or right hand side. As this reaction is exothermic. In forward direction or right hand side. Always mention the direction when you are telling it's an exo or endo. Okay. What about pressure? If the pressure is reduced. Pressure is reduced. For the pressure, you have to look at what? Number of moles of gases. If you increase the pressure, equilibrium goes to the side where the less moles. Now pressure is reduced. So we'll go to the side where the more moles. So which side? More moles. More moles are on the left hand side. So please write down position of equilibrium. Moves to the left hand side. Why? You have to explain. As more number of moles on the more moles of gases on the left hand side. Okay, there are more number of moles on the product, the left hand side, hence moves to the left hand side. Everyone, please, you have to write the answers on your notebook. Next. Explain in terms of particles what happens to the rate when the reaction, when the temperature is reduced. 30 seconds. 30 seconds. Keep in mind, there are 3 marks. You have to justify 3 marks. Okay. Explain in terms of particles what happens to the rate of the temperature is reduced. Rate of reaction decreases. Why? Yes. So the second point, the particles have less kinetic energy. Again, less number of molecules, less number of particles having energy more than activation energy. More than activation energy. Okay. And finally, less successful collisions, SCPUT. Successful collisions per unit time, less rate of reaction, less ROR. So these are the 3 points which you have to explain, bacho. Please be careful that the rate of reaction decreases as a 1 mark. Particles have less kinetic energy and less number of particles having energy more than activation energy as 1 mark. And then less successful collisions per unit time, less rate, that has 1 mark. So less successful collisions per unit time or more successful collisions, ye nahi miss karna. Okay, next. Get the formula of the compound when sulfuric acid reacts. I'm going to give you this equation. Sulfuric acid is H2SO4 and ammonia is NH3. When they react, 2 moles of ammonia. So they form what? Ammonium sulfate. This is a fertilizer that is used for ammonia is used for making. Okay. Name a metal ore which contains sulfur. No, read it carefully. Sulfuric acid manufactured by industrial process. Sulfur is obtained from sulfur-containing metal ores. We did yesterday. Sulfur is a metal ore is converted to sulfur dioxide, which is oxidized to sulfur trioxide as shown. Name the metal ore which contains sulfur. I think I made you write two ores. One was copper, what full name? Copper pyrite. And the second one was, no, another one, zinc blend. Copper pyrite and zinc blend. Okay. Next, describe the process which converts metal ores to sulfur dioxide. You remember we need to combust or burn the metal ores to get sulfur into sulfur dioxide, right? So heating or burning. Metal ore in air. Or you remember we call it roasting, okay? Yesterday we called it roasting. Yeah, there's a, you can go watch the lecture on the YouTube and then you can copy the notes. Okay. Name the industrial process used to manufacture sulfuric acid. Yes, contact process. You have to write. I request. Contact process. What next? Here is the reaction that produces sulfur trioxide. Forward reaction is exo. State and temperature pressure used to make sulfur trioxide. Do you remember? What was the temperature? 450. What was the pressure? Sorry? Okay, name the catalyst used. V2O5. You have to name it. So vanadium 5. You have to write a number in Roman. Vanadium 5 oxide. You have to write like this. What are the two features of equilibrium? Describe two features of equilibrium. Rate of forward. So please don't forget, if you miss the word rate, they're not going to give you the mark. Rate of forward reaction equal to the backward. And what else? Yes, the concentration of the reactants and the products becomes constant, not the same, okay? Never ever. Reaction, concentration of the reactants and the products, reactant and products becomes constant. State the effect, if any, on the position of equilibrium when the following changes are made, right? This reaction is again exothermic, he has told us. I can rewrite the reaction again, 2SO2 plus O2. I'm giving you 30 seconds to write the answer for these two. 2SO3. Reaction is exo in this direction. Okay, please go ahead. Write down, please. Okay, here you go. Temperature is increased. What do you think? What happens to the position of equilibrium? Position of equilibrium moves to the left hand side. Explain why. Why position of equilibrium moves to the left hand side? As this reaction, either you can write is exo in the forward direction, is exothermic in forward or left right hand side, or you can say or it absorbs energy and goes backward or goes left hand side. Goes left hand side. Next, pressure is increased. What do you think? Yes, so position of equilibrium moves to the, please write down, right hand side. Why? As, sorry, excuse me, less number of moles of gases. Less number of moles of gases on the right hand side. Okay, next. Explain in terms of particles what happens to the rate of the reaction when temperature is increased. 30 seconds. Here you go. Anyone? Rate increases. Why? Okay, I'm going to write it in points so you can understand the what points are needed. Okay, and you can't miss. Rate increases, particles gain kinetic energy, more particles having energy more particles having energy more than activation energy, hence more, yes, more successful collisions per unit time, more ROR. ROR we did write in the start, but here we just in the flow. So you cannot miss any one of the points mentioned above. If you want all 3 marks. Okay. So here the rate increases, particle gains kinetic energy, more particles having energy more than activation energy, right? More successful collisions and more rate of reaction. Okay. Yeah, you can just skip this. Next. Name the compound formed when sulfuric acid reacts with ammonia. We just did it. When ammonia reacts with sulfuric acid, what is formed? Ammonium sulfate. Next. This question is about the compounds of nitrogen. The equation represents the equilibrium between N2O4 and NO2 at high temperature in a closed container. Predict what happens to the position of equilibrium when the pressure is decreased. Explain your answer. Okay, you have 30 minutes. 30 seconds. 30 seconds. When the pressure is decreased, if you are looking at the effect of pressure, you have to look at the number of moles. How many moles on this side and how many moles on this side? 1 and 2. So there are unequal moles, right? So if you look at the number of moles, which side they are going to go? Okay, so which side they're going to go? The pressure is decreased. So decrease in pressure shifts the equilibrium where? More moles or less moles? More moles are present. So which side has more moles? Right hand side. So position of equilibrium moves to the which side? Right hand side. Why? Why? Pressure is decreased, na? Moles. There's a 1 mole on this side and there's a 2 mole on this side. So when pressure decreases, goes to the side where more moles are present. So which side has more moles? The right side. Why? What is the explanation? More moles of gases. More moles of gases present on the right side. Or in other words, less moles on the fewer or less moles on left hand side. Next, again 30 seconds. The table shows the concentration of NO2 in a closed container at 3 different temperatures. I'm going to write the equations again. Here it is N2O4, 2NO2. Okay, so this is in a closed container at 3 different temperature. Let's say 100, 150, and 200. Again and again, the temperature is increased and he measured the concentration of NO2. Now, can you see what is happening to the concentration of NO2 with the increase in temperature? Increases. So increase in temp. So it means which direction equilibrium is shifting?
To the right hand
by increasing
side.
temperature. So it should be what? Endo or exo? Endothermic, because increasing temperature favors the endo. Okay, so please write down enthalpy change. It is endothermic on the right hand side. Just explaining it. It is endothermic reaction on the right hand side. Why? What is the explanation? As the reaction shifts position of equilibrium, to the right which is shown by increase in concentration. So you have to mention how you got to know it's going on the right hand side, which is shown by increase in concentration. Increase in concentration of NO2 by increasing temperature. Next. State the percentage of nitrogen by volume in the air. I told you, I think yesterday, 78%. Okay. Predict what happens to the equilibrium between nitrogen and oxygen at high temperature in a closed container. What happens to with pressure is increased? Okay, in this container, the pressure is increased. What happens to the position of equilibrium?
No change.
Why no change? Yes, number of
Because
moles
there
of
are
what? Number
equal
of moles
number
of
of moles of gases in both
gases.
sides.
Number of moles of gases. Yes, so write down please. Number of moles of gases equal on the both side. Again, another reaction. N2 plus O2 gives us 2NO. I'm just rewrite. 30 seconds, please. Table shows the concentration of NO in a closed container at 3 different temperatures. State what this information shows about the enthalpy change of the forward reaction.
Endothermic.
Why it is endothermic?
Because when
Increase in
temperature is
temperature
increased,
showing increase in concentration of NO means equilibrium shifting to the right hand side. So it's an endothermic reaction. So please write down endothermic. Why? Increase in concentration of NO with temperature increases not increases, shifts equilibrium to right side.
Will we change the difference नहीं होता endothermic और endothermic की तो value जो होती है enthalpy से वो change
Enthalpy is the amount of energy given out or enthalpy change उसी energy को कहते हैं that is given out or taken in, not a change. उसका नाम है, the energy that is given out is named as change. So it looks like a change, it's not change, it's the energy that is given out. Okay? वेटिंग रूम में कोई है, ये क्या है? या तो उसको मैसेज कर दें कि you should come with your name. Okay, next here. Calcium carbonate heated in a closed container at an equilibrium mixture is formed. The forward reaction is endo. Describe and explain what effect, if any, on the position of equilibrium when a hole is made in the container. Okay, 10 seconds, 20 seconds, sorry. You should write this equation. This is calcium carbonate. Please write down the equation with the state symbols. Gives us calcium oxide plus carbon dioxide. So this reaction is at equilibrium, and then a hole is made in the container. When this reaction is at equilibrium, look what happened. They made a hole in this container here. So now you have to tell what will happen. We have made a hole in this container here. What happens? Position of equilibrium. Is there any effect on the position of equilibrium by making a hole in the container? Why? Yes, when you make, you can see these two reactants are solids. One of the product is a gas. So as soon as you made a hole in the container, the gas is going to escape. When the gas escapes, in other words, carbon dioxide has been removed. So when it is removed, the reaction is going to go on the right hand side to make more carbon dioxide. Okay, so please write down. Carbon dioxide escapes and this decrease in concentration of carbon dioxide at equilibrium decrease in amount.
सर ये आपने भेजा है ग्रुप पे?
Yes. Amount of carbon dioxide at equilibrium. Shift the equilibrium to the right hand side. To the right hand side to make more carbon dioxide, to form more carbon dioxide. Next, describe and explain the effect, if any, on the position of equilibrium when the temperature is increased. Quickly, when the temperature is increased, 20 seconds. Reaction is endo. Why? Yes. So please write down. Equilibrium shifts to the right hand side. Why it shifts to the right hand side, you have to explain. As this reaction is endo mean endothermic, to right hand side, so absorbs energy going forward. When heated calcium oxide reacts with the chlorine is Cl2, to form a calcium chloride and a gas which relights the glowing splint. What is the gas that relights the glowing splint? Oxygen gas, okay?
Oxygen.
Balance ke liye you have to multiply it with the 2. And 2 this. Here it is. When lead chloride is warmed in a closed container, the equilibrium mixture is formed. The forward reaction is exothermic. Forward reaction is exo. Describe and explain effect, if any, on the position of equilibrium when the concentration of chlorine is increased. The concentration of chlorine is increased, bacho. What happens if the concentration of chlorine is increased? Why?
The equilibrium will shift to the left-hand side.
Why? We have to explain why. In order to consume the amount of chlorine that has been added. So equilibrium shifts to the right hand side, left hand side. To left hand side. Why it shifts to the left hand side? In order to consume the amount of the chlorine that has been added. Okay? At equilibrium. Describe and explain the effect, if any, on the position of equilibrium when the temperature is increased. This reaction is exothermic, bacho. Exothermic in the forward direction. So temperature is increased. Moves towards the left. Any exothermic reaction giving out energy, so it moves to the left. Right? So what is the explanation? Position of equilibrium goes left. Why? As reaction is? Yes, as reaction exo in the forward or right hand side. Okay, we'll continue this. That's all from my side for today. And this comes to end of the rate and reversible reactions. Right?